So today's math lesson, we are going to be looking at ordering decimals as well as positive and negative numbers. Before we start that, your Fluent in 5 number today is 135. Like yesterday, you can do them in whatever order you want and just make sure you set yourself a reasonable amount of time to complete all the different stages of Fluent in 5. Pause the video, give it a go, and then unpause the video when you finish Fluent in 5 so we can continue with the lesson. So, before we look at ordering numbers, we have to just recap place value of numbers, because the place value of numbers, obviously knowing the different place values helps with the ordering. So the position of a digit in a number gives the value of that digit. The further left the digit is, the greater its value. So you can see on the screen, we've got the decimal point, which is highlighted in yellow. The further left the number is of this decimal point, the bigger that number actually is. So we know this already, but you can see it's the units, the tens, hundreds, and so on. The further right that number is of the decimal point, the smaller the digit is, the lower the value is. So that should be nothing new to us in year 6, but it's just a recap, and that will obviously help you with the ordering of numbers. So just some practice on that. I would like you now to look at these numbers, and I would like you to tell me the place value of that digit that is highlighted in red. So like before, think about what column that digit would be in. So we've got the 7 is here. We've got the decimal point first of all. Then obviously after the decimal point is the ones. Then it's the tens. And then it is the hundreds. So we know the value of that number is 700. Okay. The letter B with the number is 91,843.48. Again, got the decimal point, move along. We know it's further left this time, so we know it's going to be a bigger number. So we've got the ones column, the tens column, the hundreds column, and the thousands column. So this is in the thousands column, this one, therefore the value of it is 1,000. This number, the number highlighted in red is an 8, and this is actually closer to the decimal point. So we've got the decimal point, we've got the ones column, and then the tens column. So the value of this 8 is 80. D, the number is 8,521.63. This time the number is not left to the decimal point, it's right of the decimal point. So we know it's going to be a lower number. So it's got the decimal point, so the 6 is in the tenth column. So therefore the value of that 6 is either 6/10 or 0.6. This number, 61,293.457. Again, this is further left the decimal point. So the decimal points here, we've got ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. So the value of this 6 is 60,000. And then on this side, again, on this number, it's farther away from the decimal point, so we know the value of that is going to be smaller. So we've got the tenths column, the hundredths column, and the thousandths column. So the value of this would be 0.003. That was just a quick recap of place value of a number. Moving on to today's learning, ordering decimals. Now we have done this before in year 6, but we've got step 1, step 2, and step 3 to help you through it. An easier way to put decimals in order is if they have the same number of digits after the decimal point. So step 1, look at your numbers and look at the decimals to find which one has the most numbers of digits after the decimal point. In this case, it's this number here, 0.302, as it's got 3 digits after the decimal point. This one only has 2, this one has 1, and this one has 2 as well. So once you've figured that out, step 2 is you need to add the zeros to the other decimal numbers so that they all have this number of digits after the decimal point. This one has 3, so you need to add a 0 to this one, so then that one has got 3 digits. You need to add 2 zeros to this one, so this one has 3 digits. And then you need to add 1 0 to this one, so this one has 3 digits, like the example is there. Then step 3, once you've done that, you can put them in order of size. So we're saying from highest to lowest, if we look, they all start with a 0 in the ones column. So then we're looking at the numbers after the decimal point. If you look across, we can see that 0.500 is the highest number, 0.302 is the next one, 0.120 is the next one, and 0.060 is the lowest number. So we'll have another go at this one. So put these decimals in order from lowest to highest this time. So looking back, step 1, figure out which number has the most most digits after the decimal point. Well, 3 of them have 2 numbers after the decimal point, and this one only has 1. So you need to make sure this one has 2 as well. Okay, they all have the same number in that ones column. It's all a 4. So forget about that 4 for now, and you're looking at the numbers that I am underlining, and you're going to be putting these in order from lowest to highest. So we know 4.06 is the lowest one, so we've done that one. Then it will be 4.16, so we've done that one. Then we're left with these two. It will then be 4.26, and then it will be 4.60. In order from lowest to highest. This one, again, look at the digits after the decimal point, see which one has the most. This one has 2, this one has 2, and this one has 2. So therefore we need to add another one to this number for that to also have 2. They all have a 7 before that decimal point in the ones column, so you can forget about that number for now. Obviously, if one of them had an 8 in the ones column, we know that would be the largest number regardless of what comes after the decimal point, because 8 is bigger than 7. But they're all a 7, so you need to look at the numbers after the decimal point. We know 7.08 is the smallest, and then it is 7.18, and then we're left with these two. Then it is 7.28, and then 7.80. Okay, when you do your worksheets, just double check what the instructions say. This time it said from lowest to highest, but it might well ask you to do from highest to lowest, so always just double check what the question's asking you. So that's how you would order the decimals. Your challenge today is ordering negative numbers. So if negative numbers are included in your sequence that you have to order, you obviously can't follow the same rule as what I've just shown you. So you need to just think about this number line. I always think about it as temperature in degrees. And we know that if the temperature fell to -11, that is a lot colder than -1. So although you can see on the number line on the negative side, the digit in fact increases, but that means the number is getting lower. Okay, so it's sort of the reverse to the positive side. So if you're asked to order these numbers up here, you've got -12, 34, -95, 78, 178, 0, and -5. If we were to ask to order those from lowest to highest, for example, you would look at your minus numbers first, which is this one, and this one. So we've got -12, -95, -5. Think of that number line. -95 would all be off the screen. So that one is the lowest. Okay, then it would be -12. And then it would be -5, because remember, -5 is closer to the 0. Once you've ordered your negative numbers, look at your positive ones. So obviously 0 would be next. We need to remember the 0 is actually a number. And then we've got 84, 78, and 178. We know 78 would come next. Then it would be 84. And then it would be 178. Okay, so this is your task today on Purple Mash, ordering decimals and ordering positive and negative numbers. Play this video as you're doing your learning to help support you, and just remember all the different steps that we've shown you to help you with your work. And then once you've completed it, submit it back onto Purple Mash and we will mark it.